This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good day, Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 4, 2022. And in the news, Patterson's lawyer alleges cops interviewed a client behind her back. Attorney-at-law Michelle Thomas is representing Rasheen Patterson, the person of interest in the murder of social media influencer Anika Slikiana Townsend, is accusing the police of breaching due process after her client was reportedly questioned behind her back. The lawyer told the news that her client was questioned on Wednesday and the statement recorded. Thomas also reported that her client was taken from his cell and was transported to a guest house in Hanover by the police as part of their investigation. Given the sensitive nature of the high-profile case, Thomas said the police should ensure that they dot all their I's and cross all their T's. She argued that she should have been present for the interrogation of her client. While stressing that the police are aware of the protocols, the attorney expressed a concern that her client could have incriminated himself or prejudiced his case. He might say something which does not mean that he is guilty, but it may prejudice his case, she said. Patterson was apprehended by the police at a guest house in Hanover on Wednesday, a day before he was expected to surrender to the security forces. He was named as a person of interest shortly after Townsend's body was recovered from the sea in Redding, St. James on October 21. The police had reported on Tuesday that Patterson would be turning himself in on Thursday and would be charged after he was questioned. But according to the lawyer, the investigator in the case deliberately blocked her from the question and answer session and went ahead and engaged the services of a justice of the peace. The morning of the said interview, I spoke with him, so if he had any intention, it would have been easy for him to say, Miss Thomas, I am going into office and I am going to do a Q&A and make yourself available, she said, adding that her client was told that he did not need a lawyer. Thomas said she had called the investigator that morning to inform him that she was available and to find out when the Q&A would be done, but was told to call him back at 10 a.m. However, the attorney said several calls to the investigator that day was not answered. I am just putting it on the record that the police are treading on a dangerous course because any statement that is given under coercion is not admissible at court, Thomas warned. Area 1 Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Clifford Chambers, told the news that he could not respond to Thomas's claim as he has not yet been updated on that aspect of the investigation. But Chambers, while pointing out that more than 5 different lawyers have expressed an interest in representing Patterson, said he was not sure if Thomas had been retained in the matter and is in fact his attorney. However, he said in case where a lawyer contacts an investigator and advises that he or she is the legal representative, arrangements have consistently been made for the attorney to be present for interviews. Chambers said that Patterson was slapped Thursday with assault and abduction charges in relation to a 2018 matter. No charges have been laid against Patterson in the influencer's case. PNP councillors accused of being vultures. St. Thomas Western Member of Parliament James Robertson has poured scorn on People's National Party councillors for their distasteful quest for power following the sudden death of Linworth Rawle, the deputy mayor of Morant Bay. They're jumping up and down like vultures, said Robertson, who spoke to the news on Thursday. In the aftermath of the Jamaica Labour Party councillors passing midweek, Robertson said the opposition's caucus ought to keep quiet and allow time for Rawle's family and colleagues to mourn. The truth is the PNP in that division and those behaving in a distasteful manner at this time, I saw him eat and drink with them as friends for 20 years, so I am surprised at their behavior, the JLP MP said, adding that the councillor was well loved. Now they seem to just be in a crazy frenzy. The truth is it's the only way they can win anything because the next time any local government election is called, it's a 10-0, Robertson asserted. Rawle, councillor for the Trinityville division in the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation, died on October 31 in the United States where he had sought medical treatment. The division falls within the St. Thomas Western constituency. General Secretary of the PNP, Dr. Dayton Campbell, declined to comment on the next move for the opposition party when contacted by the news on Thursday. Mayor of Morant Bay, Michael Hugh, did not respond to calls from the news. Hugh is the JLP councillor for the Port Morant division. I don't want to get into that at this point, but I do want to express sincere condolences to the deputy mayor's family and friends, Campbell said. Rawls' death has triggered a shift in the balance of power of the local authority, where both the PNP and the JLP held 5 divisions each. By virtue of securing the popular vote in the 2016 local government elections, the JLP earned the right to choose the mayor, resulting in its control of the corporation. That is now expected to change once Rawls' death is recorded in the minutes of the next council meeting. Section 104 of the Parish Council Act outlines that the seat of an elected councillor shall not be deemed to have been vacated or to have become vacant until such vacancy shall have been entered onto the minutes of such council or until the Supreme Court shall have declared the seat to be vacant. It is expected that the PNP, the minority in the council, will table a resolution to have Rawls' death recorded and subsequently vote to select a mayor. That vote would cement a 6th PNP-led municipal corporation to the JLP's 8th. Former local government minister Noel Arscott said the shift in power would not be significant. Obviously, the PNP gains an additional mayor. It would be important politically, but in real terms on the ground, I don't think it will make a big difference, Arscott told the news in an interview on Thursday. The political work would be there, and the issue of the work for the municipality in terms of the infrastructure or drain cleaning and road repairs. Those functions are pretty much the remit of the CEO, who has the responsibility to implement the projects. In the short term, it shouldn't make any significant difference. Arscott described the issue to be symbolic, while pointing to the impending local government polls. A by-election to fill a vacancy cannot be announced if a local government election is constitutionally due within 6 months of the vacancy arising. An election is due by February 2023. At least 9 divisions across the island have remained vacant because of councillors' deaths or resignation since 2020. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie could not be reached for a comment. We can't gamble with people's lives, judge tells the lawyer for man accused of cousin's murder. A defendant behind bars for 9 years awaiting trial for the alleged murder of his cousin, for which the main witness, who is also a relative, died violently after being threatened to drop the case, was denied bail by Supreme Court Judge Leighton Pusey on Thursday. The accused, Shane Harris, was charged in 2013, along with Rashid Williams and Andre Miller, for murder, illegal possession of firearm, and shooting with intent. Harris and Williams are behind the bars while Miller has been out on bail. The 3 allegedly were behind the shooting death of a man who is Harris's cousin. That murder was supposedly witnessed by the dead man's brother, who provided witness statements to the police, but was later killed following threats on his life, allegedly by a brother of Harris, who is their cousin. Appearing before Supreme Court Judge Justice Leighton Pusey in downtown Kingston on Thursday, attorney Vincent Leslie, who represents Harris, had asked the judge whether there could be special consideration for the matter to be tried in 2023, as his client had been behind the bars for 9 years. Leslie, in being told that the nearest available date was September of 2025, said, "My client is insisting that I ask for a little bail." The attorney, on being quizzed by the judge as to whether he wanted to make a formal bail application, said he did not want to address the circumstances of the case, as to do so would be alerting the Crown. When one looks at the statement given by the witness, who is now deceased, identification is a direct issue. Credibility is a live issue when he speaks of the men. At no time did he give any time in which he saw the person he referred to as Mr. Harris's face. Mr. Harris was never placed on an identification parade, and so identification is a live issue, Leslie argued. He was referring to a 2013 statement by the witness in which he said, "I got a good look at all of them for over a minute because I looked at them to make sure that it was them, and when I make them out clearly, I called out to them." There is no specificity as to the time he saw each person and what part of each person's body he saw, so although he has called the name of my client, we can't say it is this Shane Harris, Leslie contended. The judge, in asking Wellesley whether he had drawn his conclusion based on the contents of one statement, went on to question the attorney about the threatening phone call the witness allegedly received from Harris's brother. "We don't know if Shane Harris had a brother, and we don't know if that is true. The issue of voice recognition would arise," Wellesley said. Justice Pusey, in denying the application, said, "I have to take into consideration the fact that the witness here, who is the brother of the deceased, who is the subject of this case, was killed violently and was threatened." "Not by my client," Wellesley interjected, to which the judge retorted, "Of course not by this Mr. Harris." "No, my lord," the witness made mention that somebody called him and that person purported to be Mr. Harris's brother. Wellesley prevaricated. "Who is also named Harris, whom he knows is his relative," the judge pointed out. "You are saying I must reject it because there is nothing else that supports it. You are saying that I must say it is a coincidence that the subject died, that the eyewitness was threatened by someone with a similar name as your client, and that eyewitness has been killed, and I should happily have Mr. Harris get bail," the judge probed. "That's not what I am saying. Your lordship has not been given anything by the Crown to create a nexus between the death of the eyewitness and Mr. Harris and someone who purports to be related to Mr. Harris. It was never said," Wellesley insisted. The judge, in pointing out that he could not discard evidence held by the court without counter-evidence being provided, said, "What I am saying to you is, we can't gamble with people's lives, neither the life of the accused nor others, in a circumstance where a witness was killed and where the witness was threatened by a relative of the accused, who said, 'Don't give evidence against my brother.' A prudent court would be very unwise to offer bail in those circumstances, because there could be no means of ensuring that, if there is any such likelihood of interference with witnesses, that the witness would be protected." Said Justice Pusey, "I can only act on the evidence I have before me. It would be highly unwise for me to do that even in circumstances where there are matters in which less volatile accused persons disappear." Several consultations later, an agreement was reached for the matter to be tried by judge alone instead by a judge and a jury, and the time set to June 2024 instead of 2025. Wellesley's client was remanded along with Williams, while Miller had his bail extended. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.